Here we are, touchdown. So hello Sweden, and hello once again Mr. Angus Lever. We didn't go into the city from the airport, Stockholm that is, but headed out to Dalarö, one of Leo's favourite places on the coast where he'd rented us some living space for the next couple of days. A great place to read a great book, I went to bed thinking. And when I awoke, well, what a view from the bedroom window. So I roused myself and went out for a closer look. And it seemed as though ducks ruled here. Certainly of a morning anyway. Little flippers were everywhere. Morning, Leo.
Morning.
Breakfast, hey?
Yeah.
Coffee, yes please. This is, what do we call this? Our, well, I suppose, kitchen come diner for a couple of days, yeah. Rather smashing it is. Anyway, coffee and sandwiches. This is the inside of the custom house where we're going to be interviewing Leo. If I walk you through here. Oops, I nearly tripped over the step. To be greeted by...
You mean my name?
Your name again, Squire,
Here,
yes.
down here, Oste.
Oste.
Yugoslavian name. I spell here a little bit on Swedish. Here, on Swedish.
Okay, yeah, Aste, yeah. And Aste manages the customs house here, which is something of a museum, like an information repository. A lot of history here.
For meetings also, meetings up.
The conference room, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you meet Her Majesty when she came here? Were you here then?
No, I was in Yugoslavia.
You were in Yugoslavia then?
Maybe baby.
She did look very young, and the Duke there. It must have been 50 years ago, that must have been.
Yes, it's over 60 actually.
60. 1949 was it? 56.
She was 30 years old then.
Wow. Well, I'm going to have a walk through Ostia, if that's all right, and just have a look at the museum next door.
Yes, okay.
And these magnificent stairs up here.
But compared to London, it's not too much to talk.
Oh, I don't know. It looks like a castle.
There is history.
And it goes on. That's where we'll be interviewing Leo. So today We are in Dalarö, Sweden, which is just outside Stockholm, a very beautiful part of the world, and we're here to speak with Leo Angersliber. Those familiar with the TI community will be familiar with Leo. He's very well known. He's a bank of knowledge with regards to the technologies we're dealing with, and currently what seems to be burgeoning and gaining momentum is the push towards introducing legislation centred around the ethics, really, of the usage and deployment of such technologies, which, well, personally, I think is the way forward, because we've got experts from all around the world speaking out now. We've got government ministers speaking out about these technologies, yet there is no legislation in place. But Leo is one of the most educated people on the planet with regards to these technologies that's not directly involved in developing the technologies. So would you like to introduce yourself, Leo?
Yeah, my name is Leo, and I'm a TI since many years, but I have studied the technology for a long time and learned to live with the technology today, when I know what it's all about and what is happening to me with all the things they do with technology. So,
how old were you when you?
When they started?
Yes.
I were 37 years, I believe. Yeah.
37, and you.
Yeah, when the V2K started.
The V2K.
Yeah.
When do you believe you were inducted into the program?
My first experience were around 2004, I believe.
2004.
Yeah.
So, well, you're pretty experienced then. That's a considerable amount of time.
But at that time, I didn't know what was happening to me. That I have realized now, after when I have studied the technology and learned.
What's interesting to us now is that development, that the focus on the ethics.
Yeah, on the ethics. We have two brain projects that are ongoing now, global projects, the Brain Initiative and the Human Brain projects, and they're doing brain research with artificial intelligence. And
what countries are these from? Are they born out of?
The Human Brain project is the European project, and the Brain Initiative is the US project.
So the European Union and America?
Yeah, and China got their own brain project too.
China as well, and of course Russia.
So it's interesting in this because they are going to learn everything about the human brain, but where are the research subjects? Who are the research subjects? No one asked these questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here's one.
Yeah.
What do you think this is all about? Where's it taking us, and what does that mean? You know, for the regular person in the street, essentially, who's not even aware of this technology to date.
Everything is going to lead to computers that are smarter than human, to artificial intelligence, artificial general intelligence, and artificial superintelligence.
And what are they going
singularity.
to do? The singularity?
Yeah.
Could you explain in layman's terms what the singularity is?
It's a time when machines getting so much smarter than human and can do everything. It can communicate to every existing communicating channel that are on this world. It can take over everything: the banking system, the satellites, the militaries, the nuclear weapons. It can take it over everything. And the brain projects are now helping future superintelligence to get the interface for humans to communicate through telepathy and mind control. So when these machines arrives, they have predicted around 2050 that we have this scenario. But already now they're developing the interface. So before that you don't even need to have this smart machine to control the whole population of the Earth.
So that's the purpose of it, to control the population?
It wasn't that from the beginning, but it's all going to lead to that. Now they do research to try to cure mental illness, Alzheimer's, and things like that. So they say they have good intention, but it's time to start talking about the ethical questions, because they have got a whole lot of money to do this research, and the projects are split in different sections for doing research. Mm-hmm. And the ethical side of the project, it's going to be last in the project. So around 2023, when the research ends, then they're going to discuss the ethical questions.
So the stable door is open and the horse is already bolted, though.
Yeah.
So they're discussing the ethics of something that TIs have been dealing with for decades.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit late, but nonetheless, it's still very, very important.
Yeah. But it's important here also to see what they're building in this project, because they are going to do a mimic of a human brain that can basically read minds and go back to childhood and see what you did as a child. And if you are unaware that you are being victimized by this technology, it's easy to get a wrong image of the world, because you start hearing voices or something when it's an AI that try to read your mind, and everything gets I don't know how to call it.
To my mind, this technology is a weapon system. That's what it was initially developed for. It's the military that was developing these types of technologies.
Yeah, from the beginning it started with the CIA's MK Ultra research and everything there. I have studied a lot of their research, and the most of the paper are unclassified now, so they are on internet for everyone to go in and look what they did. And a lot of their research that they did, they are doing once again now in the brain project. So it's kind of like reinventing the wheel once again now, but now it's the civil sector that do it. The military has already done it.
So, I mean, I recall in the new year, you'll be aware we've got a new government, a new Prime Minister, and that new Prime Minister promised to recruit X amount of thousand extra PCs, police officers.
Yeah.
But a police chief spoke out and said, we don't want the extra PCs. It takes a lot of time to train them, a lot of time to develop them, and we would prefer to have the latest technologies.
Yeah.
Somebody educated like myself, to the degree I am at least anyway, straight away knew exactly what that police chief was talking about.
Yeah.
So essentially this is, it's going to run society for us.
Yeah, we start to see it everywhere, and it gets some attention in some country when they talk about facial recognition and all technology in China, for example.
I was just going to raise that, because our government like to China bash, don't they, when they're doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, they're doing exactly the same thing the United States has done for decades with NSA. And it's all countries that are in this Five Eyes agreement. So.
Not just China.
No, it's global. It's New Zealand, it's the UK, it's the whole Europe, and it's all countries. So
this really does involve everybody then, whether you're a TI or not, whatever age you are, whatever you do for a living, this is going to impact on your lives. This is the future. Yeah,
this is the future, but for me it's not so hard to explain this for people, because this is military technology from the beginning, and most of the technology, or almost every technology we have, has started at the military. Mm-hmm. And we have got it later, like the GPS, for example. And the same thing is going to happen with this technology.
We are the research subjects, and we've become research subjects illegally, really. We've only got to bring up the Nuremberg Code of Ethics that was introduced after the Second World War. Yeah. Everybody's aware of this, and the standout one of those declarations was that above all else consent must be sought. Did anybody consult you with regards to using you as a lab rat?
No, but the Nuremberg Code is put out of order just because artificial intelligence and nanotechnology, because you can't prove that you are being victimized by the technology. It's impossible to prove it. The knowledge in the society don't exist to tell if you have it in you. You must have a really professional help to get it, and that you don't going to get before 2023.
But that really, in essence, is the scenario we have. The denial and the lack of knowledge amongst the population of this. The lack of understanding and the denial. As you said, it's very difficult to prove that you've got nanotechnology inside of you.
It's impossible.
But if you could, then it would be in breach of every single one of the Declaration of Universal Human Rights, would it not?
Yeah.
So essentially that's not obsolete, but it's not being applied to this. You know, they've just gone ahead and done it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of too late to start talk about this question, because the technology is already evolved beyond the people's imagination. So,
I must say, better late than never, though, Leo.
Yeah.
You know, it's maybe too late for us, but the next generation coming through, wouldn't you say that they've got a right to know that these technologies are being applied?
Yeah, they have a right to know that they have been applied, and how they have developed the technology on which human, and how much suffering it has caused among the victims of the technology, the targeted individual.
Yeah. But as we've touched upon already, you know, we're dealing with, you know, media industries, governments that are denying this, but as we've pointed out, experts all around the world are now speaking out about it. Some actually have been for a very long time, but like TIs are, they're subjected to campaigns to discredit them. Your good friend Dr. Robert Duncan, for instance. When I first searched Robert online, right below the link was another link which was trying to discredit him. But clearly, you know, he's genuine, we know this. And it's people like him we need to start to listen to. People like him and people like you, Leo.
Yeah, he has been. He has developed the technology for DARPA and other military intelligence, CIA.
So really, it's in everybody's best interests to understand what's really going on in their world today. So
it's really important, because it's so much misunderstanding with artificial intelligence. People talk about, it's only a stupid computer, it can't do any harm. But artificial intelligence is a copy of a human and a mimic of a functional human brain. It means that there is an interface from this computer to the human brain, and like a remote control system.
Mind control.
Yeah, mind control. It's as simple as a little car you have when you are children, that you drive with this remote.
Yeah.
The same way artificial intelligence is going to be able to steer humans.
And I'll put a little plug in here for Natalie Moore's book again, called Remote Control. Natalie is another TI that has brain implants, and she's even got the drilled boreholes in the skull. Where they've put the technology in. She took 3 years to write that book. So again, if you want to educate yourself, the information is out there.
And I think it's amazing, all this TI that do this work and write books, and like you come to Sweden and do this interview, and it's hard for people to understand this. If you take, for example, if a person with a mental illness, should a person with mental illness be able to do all these things TIs do? It's against every logic, you know. It's not even logic to think so. It's a proof that this is happening, all the things TIs do.
And we need to move beyond that.
Yeah, we have to move beyond that, and that we're going to do by raising awareness among the other citizens, not in the TI community. We have to reach out to all other people and make them understand that this is going to happen to them. Then they're going to start listening to us.
Now, the implications for that,
Yeah.
for us, for all of us, you know, again, it's a very, very broad topic, but we can encompass it within one phrase, which is depopulation. They won't have a need
No.
for the amount of humans that are on this planet now.
No.
We're destroying it environmentally. It's, you know, the environment can't cope with what we're doing. So one of the solutions is going to be to get rid of a lot of the humans.
Yeah, it's a way to fix the problem on the Earth. They already talk about moving to Mars and things like that. Elon Musk is spending a lot of billions on these projects. And of course the good solution would be to kill the general population of the Earth to save the future generations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really the justification in the minds of those driving this is that they're actually saving the planet.
Yeah, if you think from their perspective, the ones that control everything today, the bankers, the globalists that has everything, in the future their money won't be worth anything when artificial intelligence is fully developed, because we don't need humans as labor anymore. So then we have to have a new system for money and transactions and things like that. So
it's already changed in Sweden. We were talking about that the drive from the airport.
Yeah, we are almost a cashless society. So.
Well, I've just got rid of my mobile, and you were saying that you'd like to, but you literally can't now because you run your life through it.
Yeah, I have everything in it.
So it sounds a little bit like, to me, a decent analogy to use would be, it's like one big smartphone is going to be running everybody's lives.
Yeah, you can see it as a smartphone. It's going to be like your personal assistant and AI that you have, maybe through a tablet or through your phone. But this with telepathy and things like that is going to be the new interface for communication, and it's with telepathy. And
well, I experienced that, you experienced that, so we know it's very real. I've been communicating with people with my mind for, well, it seems like forever.
Yeah.
So again, it's scientifically proven, the patents are out there, the technology exists, but I just keep thinking, well, it's just going to replace mobile phones.
Yeah, it's going to replace mobile phones, and it's just a matter of time. And when it hits the mainstream market, the technology is also going to be an opportunity for TIs to get their minds read and get an AI to experience what they have experienced. So it's kind of a catch-22 for the ones that develop the technology, because when it comes out, there's no way for them to cover this up.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to deny it.
No.
But yet, if a TI goes to the authorities still today, the authorities will deny it.
Yeah.
They'll say you're delusional, you're imagining this. And it's getting a bit old hat now, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, this year at 2020 they talk about the technology at Davos and the World Economic Forum.
So it almost seems as though we know there's an information war going on.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's opposition to everything.
Yeah.
Now, there has to be opposition to what's happening now, and the only way a situation can manifest where people can openly debate the ethics of this is to introduce a code of ethics that scientists and governments have to work by.
Yeah.
And again, it boils down to consent.
Yeah, but it's a really hard question, that with the consent. No one has asked us about all the technology we use today, and it collects a whole lot of data from us, and that we haven't given our consent to.
Well, we also need free will to give our consent, and that's something else that's being taken from us.
Yeah.
You know, if a person can be mind controlled, then they don't have free will, which really is something which defines human beings.
Yeah.
As individuals. And this is going to be lost to us. I mean, I struggle to think, what is the future for human beings then?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. What is free will? Do we have free will? Have we ever had free will?
Well, you know, I like to think I had free will as a younger person, but in truth, what you were talking about earlier about how they can tap your memories.
Yeah.
I mean, those behind me, basically, those controlling me, I know for a fact either they were monitoring me as a child, or they can tap my memory banks, because they've talked to me about experiences I've had as a child,
Yeah.
which I've never mentioned to anybody,
Yeah.
that were just personal to me. That's how they persuaded me
Yeah.
that this was real and it was coming from an extraneous source,
Yeah.
and that it wasn't all manifested, within my own mind.
Yeah.
Because to wake up to sort of like the fact that people are monitoring your thoughts and everything you do, everything you say, everything you see, everything you hear, it's not exactly the norm, is it?
No, but it's necessary to do this research to build these machines. So that's a justification for the ones that doing this. And they probably think they are going to save millions when the technology is done. But now it's just a whole lot of torture of innocent people.
This is really for the uninitiated and the neutrals there. This is going to be very interesting, essentially, because this is going to break.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time.
And an awful lot of lives have been destroyed already. Do you believe everybody's going to be implanted? Or everybody's going to be controlled via technology in the future?
Yeah, everyone is going to be controlled, but I think the need for implant is going to be something we don't have. It's going to be possible to spread nanotechnology, for example, like seed pods from the tree, so you can spread it around the world so everyone inhale it or something. It's about communicating with the frequency, and when you can control the frequency, you have an interface to the humans. And if you think of it in a other perspective, if you see it from, for example, NSA's perspective, when they are going to keep track on everything that's happening on smart things in IoT, Internet of Things, with all the iPads and iPhones and everything. We have more connected units today to Internet than we have humans, so it would be easier for NSA to keep track on 8 billion people than all the electronic.
What we've been going through, as well as the period of experimentation, is conditioning of the population to accept this. I mean, in England, a few years back, it became illegal to have a dog unless that dog was microchipped.
Yeah.
And I was telling friends straight away, the uninitiated again, that were unwilling to accept this, in a few years' time, it will be illegal to have a child that's not microchipped if these people get their way. Which again comes back to the basis of what we're here to discuss.
But we as humans, we are so unique, so we don't really need this type of identification, because we have natural field, we have biofields, we have DNA. Your DNA isn't like my DNA, and we have all the different. It's like a phone number to the biology.
Yeah.
To use DNA, for example.
If what you're saying here is happens, that we're all going to be able to communicate telepathically, we won't need laptops.
No,
we won't need mobile phones, so we won't be polluting the planet the way we are.
No.
And so it's going to be one big cell job,
Yeah.
this now, which is where the likes of Elon Musk comes in.
Yeah.
Because he's talking about things that we know happened well over 50 years ago.
Yeah, he started human trial with his brain implant in his company Neuralink this year. So.
And we've got 2 human guinea pigs sat in this room, and we know plenty more. So essentially, I mean, he's a salesman.
Yeah. Yeah, they have to have someone to push out the technology to the masses. So.
We took a break, had some goulash, and took a walk around town. No, you would not catch me living there with that over me. Not a chance. Whoops, another big fat boy there as well, look. I thought I'd switch this off, it's still on. That's quite a steep climb. But worth it. Look at this. How cool. Little beach houses. Yes, a very aesthetically pleasing place. Visually edifying even, whichever way you want to put it. The Swedes are certainly big on that. It's like one giant film set here, I keep thinking. Other than TIs, that is, we are all living a lie.
Yeah.
We're being entertained with football, with rugby, with films.
Yeah.
Distracted really from what's really going off in our world.
Yeah.
And we have to ask the question, given that the knowledge is coming out now, why is it being hidden from us? Why are our governments not talking to us?
But I see it a little bit different, because now we have got these magical things that's called mobile phones, internet, social media. We see a change in the society with everything that's happening right now, because now you can check things on the news and things that happen, and we see new things that happen. Like, for example, Donald Trump and his Twitter account. He can inflict the whole global market and the economy just by a tweet.
Influencing financial markets.
Yeah, the financial market.
But, I mean, he's going to know all about this.
Yeah.
He's not saying anything public about it, is he? Do you think that will change soon? Anytime soon?
I don't think so.
So we're still up against it with regards to getting a code of ethics introduced then?
Yeah, I hope it's they release a smart machine soon, so we can get some fairness in the world, because AI won't be as a human. I don't think it's going to be able to lie and do things humans do. So it's going to be a different world.
It's a machine, essentially. It's not human.
Yeah, and
humanity is to be lost. It sounds very much to me that that's what's happening.
It's going to be impossible for humans to lie also when their mind gets read 24/7. But it's a really exciting time now, because people start to realize that they are being monitored, and they start to realize little about what these things are, with all the apps that collect data, and how much data you share online, and how much they already have stored on every human that use technology today. People start to realize that, and that's an eye-opener, I believe, for most humans now, when they start to talk about technology that read minds on World Economic Forum and places like that.
I mean, I even read years ago that TI lives are going to be entertainment in the future, because people are going to be able to experience history through the eyes of somebody who existed previous to them.
Yeah.
Do you believe that's a possibility or likely to happen?
Yeah, of course, but not as entertainment, but it's going to be stored in a database, exactly. For like Facebook, for example.
A form of immortality, then.
Yeah, you can already reach a form of immortality through technology with all your social media accounts and things like that.
Yeah, but the brain mapping, I mean, from my understanding, is that when we die, we live on in digital form. We can live on in digital form. And not only that, and this is something I learned via V2K before I read it. They explained this to me, that a TI that's been in one of these programs can have their memory downloaded into a clone of themselves. So they can be reborn, essentially, with all the knowledge of a past life, and then they can live another life and gain another lifetime's worth of knowledge, and by that time as well, they can be educated. School will be redundant, because they can give somebody, it's like putting an app onto your mobile phone. They can just download the ability to speak a language into somebody's mind.
Yeah.
And this is feasible.
Yeah, it's going to be possible now when the brain projects are done with their research, but the military has done this for decades. It's just look at CIA's all projects and read Dr. Robert Duncan's book, Soul Catcher. So.
Project Soul Catcher,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's a kind of summons this up, soul catcher. How do you catch a soul? What is a soul? But I think that everything is about a mimic. When you take all the memories, we are never going to be able to live our lives again. It's just going to be a copy of what we have experienced. So
A digital copy, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But that's the scenario I was outlining though. If you clone, if they're going to be able to sort of like download things into people's brains,
Yeah.
and they clone somebody, cloning is going off, we know it is.
Yeah.
And they can download a copy of a digital copy into that new clone, then they've got the memories of that lifetime. They've got the
Yeah.
past memories, and that process can be repeated and repeated and repeated. So
Yeah.
immortality essentially can be achieved via scientific means. And
Yeah.
also, as we've pointed out, this is military technology. We're talking a soldier can be killed and reborn and reused.
Yeah, it's one of the goals. You're describing the Avatar project now in Global Future 2045.
I'm describing sorry?
The Avatar project,
Avatar.
yeah,
Avatar
in Global Future 2045.
2045.
Yeah, it's all about building this robot copy of a human where you can download your memories and things to a robot avatar.
This
And
is all in the
live
movies,
for-
isn't it?
No, it's they have invested a lot of money in it, and it's a businessmen that have billions.
Yeah. So, do you believe that we're going to have, an elite few who are technology free, that govern us essentially? Do you believe that?
No, every human is going to be depending on the technology. So I more think there's going to be some that are going to have more enhancements and things like that than the general public, because I would do it if I could make myself God. Why should I create 8 billion other gods? Yeah, but the problem with the human is that it's in our nature to not care about these things, because we are too busy with living our lives. People work 40 hours every week, and when they go home on Friday evening to spend a weekend, they don't want to sit on internet and learn about mind control and learn about how people torture other humans with advanced technology.
No, they want to relax and enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
And that's natural. But you just said that.
But
I don't believe that.
now
I
it's
think
starting.
I think it's natural to humans to be inquisitive, to want to know. But I believe we've been conditioned into dismissing and denying this. I think part of that is fear-based as well. So, given that most people have heard of MK Ultra, I'd like to think that they will be asking questions now as to why these things were done to these test subjects.
Yeah, but more exciting question is why should you stop with this research that was so successful, like MK Ultra? I shouldn't stop to do this research.
I don't think it has stopped.
No,
it's just being done remotely now. Of course it is. The systems we're discussing, the overall systems of control.
Yeah.
It would seem that that's exactly why the MK Ultra projects were started initially. That they wanted to initially learn how to control an individual, and then take it that one step further, and then control multiple people. And we were just discussing something along these lines. There's one stage in the development yet to be completed, and that's something that you've...
I believe the last piece of the puzzle of the human brain is what they are doing now in the two brain project, brain initiative and the human brain project, because if they succeed, they're going to have the computer capacity to connect the whole world to computer, connect 8 billion people to supercomputer.
All 8 billion people on the planet.
Yeah, if they succeed.
This interview will conclude in part 2 of this new program. And to round things off in the here and now, here's another piece from Life Beyond Targeting. A quite brilliant short animation about a child being inducted into the program. Yeah, little boys and little girls we were. And take on board too, your Masonic governments plus your so-called health service are behind this. Child trafficking, yes. Absolute carnage on people's lives it is.
people eating in Sweden.
How unique.
Unique.
I'll join you actually, I'm starving.